Hello everyone, welcome back to this week's video. This week I am painting a Bloodraven Tactical Intercessor. Obviously this week's model is another part of my attempt to paint one of every major Space Marine chapter. I started with a spray can undercoat of White Scar because I primed the entire sprue of models with that. And then, as you can see, I watered down Mephiston Red 1-to-1 with water so that it was a glaze, and painted over all the armour pieces, trying my best to miss the under armour. Before going too far into the video, I'd once again like to apologise for how long it's taken me to get this week's video out. But as said in the community post I made, I think about 24 hours ago, to when the video released, I am in the middle of a major exam season. Anyway, moving on to the next step, I started with Liberator Gold on the Aquila in the middle of the chest. And then I moved on to Leadbelcher on the under armour on the legs, but I did originally start out experimenting with Runefang Steel. Now moving on to the arms, I used the same watered down mix of Mephiston Red and water to paint all the armour pieces on the arm, minding the under armour section in the crease of the arms and being more careful around the fingers holding the handle of the gun and the stock. I've finally gotten around to investing in a wet palette as well, so next week's model should have a more consistency of paint. Now I moved on to the casing of the gun, which I painted a watered down mix of Corvus Black and water. I made sure to paint that mix on the casing and the drum magazine of the gun. Like when painting the hands of the model, I also tried my best not to overlap any paint into areas where it shouldn't be. And now I moved on to the shoulder pads, which was when I was still a little bit indecisive as to whether it would be a Bloodraven or Blood Angel. but here cemented my idea of it being a Bloodraven, which is when I painted, I believe, Morghast Bone onto the interior of both shoulder pads. I then painted the inside grille of the mask Morghast Bone as well, because I believe I was going for the look of a veteran. I'm not really sure, but I'll put the infogram up of where I got the colour scheme from eventually. I think I'll probably put it up around this segment of the video. Now I went back to the gun and painted the leather strap Snakebite Leather. I'm not sure if with the new colour names it's exactly the same due to this being from an older pot of paint. I then realised I hadn't painted the backpack and just quickly went over that in Mephiston Red, watered down with the water like normal. During this stage I also went over the outside rims of the shoulder pads, painting them Mephiston Red, making sure to not, or try my best to not overlap any paint onto the Morghast Bone areas, and to avoid the skulls and aquillas on the bottoms of the shoulder pads. And I completely fumbled that and dropped that in the paint and then spread it about even worse by rubbing it with my finger. I try my best to cover it up. I don't know if I've put it on video, but I just paint more Morghast Bone over it. But I don't know. My bad. And then I finally went in and painted all the metallic parts of the gun. So the barrels, the stock, the grip, and the grenades. And a grenade launcher. Not used to having a grenade launcher gun. Nearly left that bit out. During this bit of awkward silence, I'm just going to talk about the base. So I started off by piling up some cork, just sporadically, and then I covered it with Stirland Mud, which once I let to dry, I coated the Stirland Mud with, I believe, Xandrii Dust, and I then just put Agrax Earthshade over it to give it a more natural look. I forgot to video that, I'm sorry. And then going in with more Liberator Gold, I paint the Aquila on the gun. Here you can also see me painting the gold for the skull and the Aquila on both the left and right shoulder pads. And now in this final segment of the video, I get round to patching up what was left to paint of the helmet by painting it Corvus Black and I believe Moot Green in the lenses, which I didn't really water down due to just being the lenses, which were a quick splot of paint in the divots. Oh yeah, I'm also quickly touching up the breathing apparatus and the ring around the neck with Leadbelcher. Anyway, there we go, that's the finished model, and I don't like grovelling it for it, but please like and subscribe, and goodbye.